Hello, it is Robin here from Hooking Outside the Lines, and I was created to create. This was my weekend project. Um, we are doing a special words challenge. Our Words Matters, what the challenge is called in the Creativity Club. And this is something I've been thinking about lately, these words particularly. And so I just did it. I kept thinking about it, overthinking it, and then I found this piece of wool and I was like, I want to do something with this. I wanted it to be fun, easy, not too much thinking, not too much time spending designing or worrying about details. So I punched this pattern um, this weekend from mostly wool strips. And I did post a picture on Facebook, and people are like, what? You can punch with wool? Um, and I played a little bit of wool chicken in this, meaning I have very few strips. I have about three strips left, and the one I grabbed actually isn't even a full strip. It's sort of cut wonky. Um, this is the side I punched on, and this is the finished side. It might look reversed, but it isn't, trust me. The right side won't be reversed. So I thought I would do this little video. We are outside because it is an absolutely gorgeous day, and I'm hoping the breeze, the little bit of wind we have, is not going to be too noisy and you can hear me. But I thought this was a nicer place to do this than my very messy studio at the moment. So punching with wool strips, very easy to do. I'm using a regular punch, number 10, size number 10, which just means the height of it. So it's going to give me a quarter of an inch finished loop when I'm done. And regular meaning it is the thicker shaft. So I can put, normally I would put my rug weight yarn. But today I'm using a number 7 wool cut. And again, this one's not perfectly cut. I normally wouldn't use this, but it is the one I grabbed for the video. It will do. We thread it just like we would our normal yarn. Go through the opening to the back of the needle, then pull it through. Now, this is where you want to pay a little bit of attention. You don't want it all twisted here. If it goes in twisted, it'll probably stay twisted. So I'm just laying it in there flat and no twist in it. And then I'll just do my normal pull back. You can pull back and forth a little bit. If there was a twist in there, it will probably straighten out. Now, it's not to say that it won't twist at all when you're punching. If that bothers you, you see a twist, just go back, pull it out, and redo that little part. But in this whole thing, I might have had like 4 twists, and some of them I just saw now, and they're so minor, they really don't bother me. If you were doing a solid color, they might be a bit more visible. But otherwise, yeah, just go for it and see. So spacing, that is a little bit different when we're using wool strips. Normally, we go about 4 stitches per inch when filling in. So all of this I would consider filling in. But for our strips, because they don't bloom, they're not going to sort of fill out like a thick rug yarn would. They're going to stay smaller and more sort of like little rectangles, is I'm going to continue with about the 6 stitches per inch, which is about in monk's cloth like this, going into every other hole. That is how I do it. These were all basically straight lines, very few curved lines, maybe in the letters. Um, and then, yeah, you just punch in every hole. Same exact. I have done all the punching that I want to in the wool fabric, but I'm going to show you. Same thing. So I'm punching, I push down. I'm just going to take my tail to the other side. And then as usual, no tension on our fabric. The shaft of our needle is facing the direction we are punching. We punch all the way down to the wood and lift up just enough to get the tip of our needle out and then back down. And for some reason, I do think going slow is better for wool strips. It won't slip out as much. Um, and I mean, I can go a little bit faster than this, but I just want to show in case anybody's wondering, I'm really just pulling up to get the tip out and then pushing all the way down. And then what you can see, oops, what I just punched in those few seconds is right there. See those perfect loops, just standing at attention. And that is going in every other hole. I'm sure if I measured it, it would be about 6 stitches per inch. One thing I do find when I'm using wool strips, they're a little bit less forgiving, especially in the sense of this one was not perfectly cut to start with. So you may get a little bit fraying if you pulled it out more than once. Just the process of it going through the needle, it gets caught on things and it will, um, make your edges a little bit rougher. So that is punching with wool fabric strips. I absolutely encourage it. I love it. Um, It gives you really nice, even loops without having to worry or work too hard at them, compared to traditional rug hooking, where with each loop you have to dictate how high you want it. Now, one thing I wanted to share in this too is I'm using multiple needles. So the background, I use the 10 regular. Now, I did use the black and the lettering in the circle, and the outline is with a black rug yarn. So that was a Briggs and Little Super. Um, I used a 9 so that it just would stand up a little bit higher. My letters are just a little bit higher than the background. I also played with some other colors. I had yellow beside my chair, and I had some of this blue that I used on the outline too. That I did with a number 10. So again, I'm just playing with heights to sort of not, things don't really stand out, but it does make a little bit of a definition to the letters that I find fun. Now, I'm going to do one more different size, and I've started here at the bottom, is I'm using this green. I'm going to fill in the corners with a fine, a 14 fine, which is the same number I did with the yellow, not 14, 13, which is what I did with the yellow. I didn't want it too different, but it just creates sort of interesting. It's interesting for me to punch, and it's interesting to look at, I think, to sort of see that difference of heights and things sort of pop up and down. So don't be afraid to try different needles, different yarns, and different fabrics all in one piece. To me, it gives it a visually interesting overall look. And of course, with this one, I'm playing with a lot of color in a sense of this wool had a lot of color. And it was a just so you can see, it goes from yellow to blue, back to yellow again. And so I didn't intentionally do a stained glass style in case anybody's familiar with that, but some places it just sort of happened. And it's really fun. So again, it doesn't even have to be solid colors. You can play with it and see what it will just create on its own. So I'm going to finish this up. If you have any questions about punching with different materials, yarn thicknesses, and needles, don't be shy. Put them in the comments or send me a message, and I'm happy to do another video about it. If you've had issues or struggles with wool fabric, let me know. I'm always curious and see how I can help. One tip I would suggest is just like this piece here. You want it as long as possible if you're doing, quite an area. It just makes it so much easier. So when you're cutting your wool strips for punching specifically, again, unlike traditional hooking, keep the strip as long as you can. It will just make it so much nicer to just punch along as opposed to having to rethread smaller bits of wool strips. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a beautiful day.